Now, 46 people are known to have died in a fire in a rundown building in southern Taiwan. Residents were trapped inside their flats on the upper floors of the 13-story building in the city of Kaohsiung. Firefighters said piles of unused items on lower floors had made the rescue more difficult. The building's lower section had once housed restaurants, karaoke bars and a cinema, but those units had been abandoned. Many of the people who lived in the building were old or had disabilities. Our Asia-Pacific editor, Michael Bristow, gave me more detail.
This has been a terrible tragedy. 46 people have died, as you mentioned there, and it seems that the layout of this particular building contributed, or that's how it seems initially, contributed to the number of people who died. As you described there, most of the lower floors of this building were abandoned. There were previously commercial units, but no one was occupying them then at the moment. And the fire appears to have started there and spread upwards to the residential floors, about 4 or 5 residential floors with 100 flats where most people were living. The firefighters say that because the lower floors have been abandoned, lots of things have been left there, so it was very difficult to get in and get people out. Lots of people who lived in the flats at the top of this building were old, who were disabled. They found it difficult to get out, and a lot of them, most of them, died of smoke inhalation. So it seems that the actual nature of this building contributed to the number of deaths. And also, obviously, questions are going to be asked how safe this was if most of it was partially, most of it was abandoned and essentially derelict.
Yeah, indeed. And we're just looking at some of those images, just devastating, the fact that these were the elderly and disabled in that building. But also, Michael, just help our audience understand how unusual this is for Taiwan in terms of its the structures of buildings and safety.
Well, it's reasonably unusual. Around 25 years ago, there was a fire at a nightclub that killed about 60 or so people. So they have had similar incidents before, but Taiwan's a modern, developed country. It has a good government which looks out for fire standards to make sure that buildings meet strict codes. Those codes aren't always followed, it has to be said, and I've been to Taiwan on a number of occasions, and some buildings do seem not to have perhaps the best escape routes or the best design. And in essence, that's what the firefighters are saying today, that escape routes, access points to this building weren't properly open and clear. And they're warning other people who live in other residential buildings to make sure that they can get out of their buildings just in case something happens. So quite a mixed history in terms of Taiwan, developed country, but they have had some incidents before. They've not, accidents like this are certainly not unknown.